Great, we are live. Good evening, Sat Sri Akal, Adab, Namaste to all the viewers. It's a great to come back on this platform after a long gap. I'm Ashish Banka, your host and president of HR Sampark, and great to be have all of you on the audience today. Sampark unveiling this mad second season, making a difference. We all know about it, and I thank all of you for the appreciation and support which you gave to the last 11 sessions. Today, we are going to unveil ourselves again where we started last year in Feb with none other than Miss Harini. Uh, Audience, everybody knows Harini, but those who do not know, I'll give a very short brief about her. She is my mentor, professional mentor. She is a business transformation evangelist, a design thinker, neuroscience enthusiast, 24 years of successful career. People function definitely has come up to her in a late span, but it has been very effective. Motivator for a lot of students, a keynote speaker in many events, and definitely a lot of YouTube and events which would have seen her on LinkedIn. She's also a principal advisor for HR Sampark Mumbai chapter and partner at Semco Style Institute LLP. I thank Harini for taking this opportunity and always coming forward and helping us to do these sessions. Mad design was to bring some very interesting and enthusiastic and energetic HR leaders to bring into Forte, where sometimes we lose a track of them, but not Mad gives a platform for us to unveil them. And today we have none other than the showstopper of this session, Mr. Jaideep Sen, a promising and energetic HR professional with over 12 years as people practitioner, proficient in overseeing the HR functions, recruitment, training development, administration, and entire HR gamut of responsibilities. A keen communicator with the ability to relate to people all across at hierarchy levels. Jaideep hails from Kolkata, currently based in Hyderabad. He's associated with Genpact as an HRBP, previously associated with FedEx and Gati. His alumnus of prestigious KIIT. I have found him keen interest to learn things and stand up to his thoughts, which make him very unique. This is only which I could gather from Jaideep, but this session will give you all about Jaideep, his thought, his journey, his process, and in the end, some very funny questions to tickle your bones. I thank Harini to unveil this journey, and Harini would be our key anchor for this session today to unveil the journey of none other than the Jaideep Sen. Over to you, Harini.
Thank you so much, Ashish. And it's really a pleasure to see the second season of the MAD episodes. And Jaideep, very, very happy to have you here as our MAD leader. And we're going to see how you have been making a difference and what is the difference people can expect from you. So um, we'll keep this in as easy, free flowing as possible, because what I would really want to hear from you is your authentic self and your professional journey. So I'm going to start with a narrative here, and let's see how we are able to relate and blend things around us and pull out insights from your journey. And the takeaways will be summarized as whatever you have to give to the audience today. So I was at a campus the last couple of days, and I was actually interacting with a batch of students, a new intake batch of students in a V school, and very interesting interaction. So first year, so obviously they're not yet chosen what specialization they want to. So I was just curious, and in casual conversations, I was asking them, how do you make a choice about which specialization you want to take? I was actually trying to find out what's their thought process for decision making. So I saw a very easy choice people were making when it came to marketing or finance. And they had a very crystal clear reason about why marketing, why finance, why operations. But when it came to the HR folks, when I asked them, what is the reason? Why are you choosing HR? Many, and this happens not only this institute, in every place I go, there's a lot of tentative answer that question. Inevitably, I gather it that they didn't want to go for marketing. They didn't want to go for operations. Finance is something that people are not very comfortable with, and therefore, by default, what is left is HR. What's your story?
Okay, I understand. I understand this, Pulse. So first of all, before I begin my story, I would like to thank for the awesome introduction Ashish has given about me. And thanks, Ashish, for this. And this platform is really a very uh, this is an eye opener for many of the HRs like us. Yes, today I am the guest here, but still I believe that I can also learn a lot from this kind of platform. And Harini, thanks for this question. I would say here, just because finance is not my forte, or marketing is not my forte, someone chooses HR. I'm not. Yeah, it happens. Definitely, it happens. But I have seen people with those who have very good people connect, the because in HR you have to sacrifice a lot also. It doesn't matter. I mean, it doesn't always that in finance or marketing people are getting a very number one in an organizations. If there are 100 of marketing employees, if there are sales employees, and there are around 50-60 of finance employees, there will be only one or two or maximum five HRs, right? So you have to make a very difficult choice while choosing the profession HR. So in my case, if you ask me, I would say in our college it was properly evaluated. The project has been given to us, and from the project outcome, it was decided, okay, this person is okay for finance, or this person is okay for HR, or this person is okay for marketing. For me, I am a dual specialization in HR and marketing, but still I got an offer from the campus in marketing, in sales
Hmm.
job, in proper with a very higher package. It was a German MNC, Donner AV Securities. Now it's
Hmm.
not there in India anymore.
Hmm.
But still, I have chosen not to go there and chose a lesser salary, lesser package, just because HR attracted me. Why HR attracted me? Because of the people connect. Because Harini, I would like to tell you here one thing. I'm not boasting. Trust me. From the beginning, when I used to do the summer internship in Centurion Bank of Punjab,
Hmm.
I've seen HRs giving the offer letters, the
Hmm.
recruiters. I didn't know what is HR all about. Yes, the bookish knowledge,
Hmm.
organizational behaviors, etc. That the things were there.
Hmm.
But HRs, the verifications of HR, the classifications of HR, there are various kind of HRs. All these things, as a beginner, I didn't know. So what I knew, I only knew HRs gave jobs. HR are the recruiters. They issue the offer letters. So somehow that was a trigger for me, that I would like to be the that good person in an organization who will issue the offer, who will give the offer to someone who is in need of a job. So that's how my HR journey has started, and
So,
that's
so
why
you're
I have
you're in HR. You're in HR by choice and not by chance, and that's
definitely
wonderful
by
because
choice.
I like the aspect of how you're highlighting that you saw HR as the face of the organization, and in your heart of hearts, you feel like you are actually giving employment to people when you're
Right.
onboarding somebody, when you're making an offer to somebody. And that's a wonderful thought, and I think all of us HR professionals have to stay with that thought of what is the difference we are making to the society as HR professionals. Of course, we are making a difference to the organization. There's no dispute on that. But like you said, there's a strong connect with the society when you're making an offer to somebody. And I'm sure you must have, in your experience, made an offer to someone for whom that offer mattered a lot, right? And it definitely is very fulfilling. And thank you so much for bringing that point out. And I noticed that in your journey, you have actually changed industry. You moved from being in
Yes.
logistics for a while, and now you've moved to an IT services company. So, in this kind of a move that you have made from one industry to the other, while people are all the time saying that we would prefer to hire industry specific people, so in this journey, what's the kind of transformation did you notice in the way HR works? Especially, I mean, let's focus on when you changed industry. The reason I want you to highlight this is there is a myth that if you are from the same industry, you're a better HR professional. But since you have made that transition, focus on
Yeah.
that transition and tell me what is the transformation that you see between two industries, two sectors, and did you have to do something to yourself to make that transformation seamless?
Yes, I understand. Definitely, Harini. Just because, but before giving the question of your answer, I would like to say one thing here.
Hmm.
What transformation I have noticed in HR over the years, suppose I am already been 12 years, 12, 13 years in this HR profession.
mm,
It is more from a transactional to transformational, and more from a people culture to a business culture has been evolved. I mean,
mhm,
that business, you need to know the business quite well, and trust me, this is same across all industry. I mean, be it IT, be it BPO, be it FMCG, be it the
mm, mm,
logistics,
mm,
manufacturing. So I have
mm,
observed the business parameter, you need to know the business very well. So coming to your question, that what I need to change, what I need to transform in me,
mm,
that is definitely I used to handle a lot of labor issues earlier.
mm,
To handle blue collared employees. I used to
mm,
handle employees who will not will ask you questions, but in a different way. But in
mm,
IT, people
mm,
are more educated, so you need to learn how to tackle these employees, because anyway, handling why HR is difficult, because HR handles intellectual properties, right? Because a sales guys handle a product, or a finance guy handle money. They
mm,
don't deal with the intellectual things, but we
mm,
deal with it, because
mm,
the opponent will ask me a question, why this is like this. So obviously, in my previous industries, the question pattern was different, the ask was different, but now it's IT industry, so I have to learn that how you handle, how you take care of the employees in a various different way, because more educated people, more complexity, don't, not in a negative way, but more there will various kind of questions, right? So you have to be ready with it, and you, if you know the business well, trust me, you can answer most of the questions well, because no one can tell you that you are a HR person so you don't know the business. So if you know the business, half of the job are done. So this is my transformation, and definitely you have to keep you updated about your project, about your the IT sectors, the some of the some of
how much
the
time did it take for you to settle into the IT services business? Because you spoke about understanding the business and you came from a different sector. So how much time did it take for you to get settled in this?
Yeah, I'm still learning. So it is. I'm still not settled, to be very frank, because it's a long. It's not that easy.
It's
So, but
dynamic.
your efforts are there. So if you put the effort, it will take time, but you will understand, and that will definitely pay you off. I mean, because there are a lot of learning in other industries. Because I am from logistics supply chain industry earlier, so
Mm,
learnings were tremendous. I have learned a lot. So I doubt whether from a IT company to a logistics industry, would I be that much effective, because in terms of learning, logistics has more give me to offer for me. So that's why probably I am able to handle this. I don't know
yeah,
whether it will be the
because when
opposite.
you're yeah, when you're coming from handling blue collared employees, uh, I think the point you're trying to make is that has really helped you because you probably got a better understanding of people behavior, etc. Working with blue collar people, and then when you moved into a little more quote unquote sophisticated industry, it brought the softer aspects of people management into it, and like you said, the learning never stops, right? So
Yes.
that actually leads me to the next question. Learning never stops, and I was somebody who was very vocal about VUCA not being there. I used to say that VUCA is a World War II acronym, and why are we still talking about VUCA? And I was pretty vocal in public forums saying there is no such thing as VUCA, and we should all be prepared to face anything and not be victims of VUCA. But I think the pandemic actually turned my belief upside down. It hit me as bad as it hit the world. So in the pandemic, it was VUCA staring at us on the face, right? So
Correct.
that was a situation where a lot of us struggled to hold ground, to stay afloat. We figured out how to reorganize ourselves very quickly because we had no choice. Now, looking at, I mean, you've been in the HR journey during the pandemic. I have started wearing multiple hats, so I would like to hear from you that being in your HR journey and also in moving across sectors, whatever. But in your HR journey, let's look at the period 2019 the lockdown, the pandemic period, and now 2022. We started speaking about the new normal. Then towards the beginning of 2022, we started talking about hybrid. A lot of things have happened in your journey, very very specifically in your journey. What were your observations about how things changed from pre-COVID times to the new normal to the next normal now? How do you see what all things have changed, and what is it that students of today, HR students of today, should really be aware of this change? Because this has been these 2 3 years have taught us great things. So what are your learnings which you want to share with our student community in particular?
Yeah. Yes, the pandemic has been a great learning experience for all of us, right?
Hmm.
Uh, so yes, companies have taken some hard decisions, some of the decisions which were not in favor, but we have learned a lot. We have evolved from there,
Hmm.
and also I believe that virtual connect has been that is one of the outcome what we get from the
Hmm. Hmm.
out of this pandemic.
Hmm.
More of a virtual connect, more of this sessions which include a lot of people virtually.
Hmm.
And I believe the post pandemic session is very much important, very much crucial for all the HR people, because the business transformations, the first effect, the first people, the first industry, or I should say the first function which will be affected, that is HR. Not in
Hmm.
terms of, I'm not talking about the job, less job, or there will be uh, downsizing or something. I am talking in terms of, because HR has to take the further steps now. Suppose
Absolutely.
a lot of RTO things are happening. RTO means the
Hmm.
return to office stuffs.
Hmm. Hmm.
People are not a lot of people are not willing to come, because what happened in during pandemic, the recruiters, the people who are in the talent acquisition team, they've hired a lot of people from here and there, right? Suppose some of the people are outside of the, suppose I'm hiring from Mumbai, some of the
Hmm.
people are in Delhi, some of the people in Bangalore, but they're okay because we are hiring on a remotely, because work from home was there. Now the return to office, I'm talking about ITES, this industry mainly. So now when the return to office has come, so they are reluctant, they are not, they're saying no, I should not relocate myself, right? So the first effect of post pandemic, the first affected industry, the function will be the HR. So we need to take a lot of precautions properly, like hybrid model, how to do all this, probably twice a week office, or thrice work from home, something like that. And also lot of involvement, virtual family connect, virtual employee engagement activities we need to do, so that employee feel that connection, because the office, they are not coming to the office on a regular basis, right? So we need to do all this. So I believe post pandemic, this is the most important thing. And also we need to be very much active in the business decisions, because whatever the business decisions has been taken, probably it's fact that some of the business decisions, they keep HR omit, right? They don't disclose the first steps of the business decisions to the HRs.
Hmm.
Probably in the
Hmm.
next second or third steps that we good to know, and
Hmm.
then we need to
Hmm.
act accordingly. But
Hmm.
we have to be very proactive in the business decisions, so that we can take the proper
Hmm.
steps, because post pandemic the situations will be very difficult. And also we are a lot of people in the journals and everywhere I'm reading, I'm not sure though the recession of that US recession and everything may come very soon, right? So
Hmm.
just to be proactive and be aligned with the business, so that you can take the decisions accordingly, and you can help business to grow in terms of people connect, in terms of people engagement, and etc. So that's what my belief is.
So, what you're saying actually, for the benefit of students and young HR professional community, to me, what you're saying is this probably has been a boon to HR,
Hmm.
because HR professionals found an opportunity to think intuitively and innovatively. The pandemic, they had to trust their gut feeling, intuition, because when you're hiring remotely, onboarding employees remotely, there's a lot of intuition you have to trust. that is this candidate the right culture fit, because you're actually you're hiring somebody whom you're not meeting in person. All that happened.
Yes,
So
that is happening.
definitely, I think from what you're saying, the way HR adapted, I think this period was a blessing in disguise for us, because we were able to test our intuition and also innovation. We had to quickly change the way we work, and you spoke extensively about how to keep employees engaged remotely and all of that. We never imagined, but this was probably a blessing in disguise for us to come out with different ways of thinking. The outcome of that also, as you rightly pointed out, is while HR was seen as a support function, uh, probably for a long time, and HR was probably getting into a comfort zone of a back seat of saying that this is what the business wants me to do and I will support. From that, suddenly we move to a kind of a role where we are the first to know what's going to happen, what's going to hit us, and we're
Correct.
actually helping in driving the business. So that's a phenomenal observation that you've made, I think, about how HR has taken the pandemic to the post pandemic space. So this is for me, from my side, as you said, this is something which I really want the students of HR and young professionals to pay attention to. Is this was a chance, an opportunity for us to jump into action and grab that seat at the table about which we have been crying for a long, long time, right? So thank you so much for highlighting that point. Ashish wants to say something.
Yeah, Harini, just to second exactly what you said, I think HR earlier R was resource.
Mm.
Now we also went ahead and, so we did recognition and we earned respect R.
Oh
And
yes.
I think the ease of empathy and your enlightenment, how to innovate, how to adapt, and the third E of in terms of energy, which
Mm.
everybody brought. I think HR professionals really got that respect out of this
Yeah.
pandemic. End of the day,
Yeah, and
Jaideep,
and
I
how
have a
we got respect, I think it's purely because we use this opportunity to also give respect.
correct.
So wherever possible, HR did all that it could to maintain the business continuity and all of that, and did it in our own subtle ways. So we learned how to give respect, and we quickly got respects. Very well said,
And
Ashish.
that is also beyond the company boundaries.
Oh
Going
yes.
back and do it for the Jaideep, an interesting question which has come from the audience and would I would like to ask is in terms of as you mentioned to a student community what we need to do, right phases of what we but crafting out HR career is very difficult. Everybody's HR journey is so different to each other. End of the day, today your journey is so different to journey of many others who are in your league or your peer group. So two question, which you need. One is if somebody decides, which Harini also pointed out when she went and asked, and I recall that when I also went to the same institute, only five hands came up, and I did not, I just overlooked it. I told it's an expensive department, the risky department, so people will not be. But how do you craft a career if you are a student? That is one. And once you gain an experience of 7 to 10 years, whether you are from pedigree, a non-pedigree, what kind of organizations have you worked? Have you worked with brand or non-brand? Everybody comes to that level after 5 to 7 years because they are judged on what knowledge they have gained. So, what is your take on how do you craft a career on these two junctures of career?
Okay. So, I understand, Ashish. It's a very, very valid and very important questions nowadays because people are struggling. I'm getting it to know from a various resources that people are really struggling to get a proper job and all. But many people may disagree with me. But still, I would believe I would try to. I would say here from for the freshers, don't be very much choosy. I mean, while going for a HR job, because for you the career and don't go for money and other stuffs initially, because the learning is very much important in HR initially. Because if you are into if you get through any because if you get a breakthrough in HR career, just grab it. and from your profession you can learn a lot. And once you start learning, you can develop yourself by doing some certification courses, some etc. If you can put, you can enhance your knowledge, it's your skill, it's externally. But I would believe, I have seen people are very choosy. I've seen youngsters being very choosy because they are seeing their finance and marketing guys getting better offers, good packages. So it's quite normal because they're like youngsters, like they're starting their careers. They do it. So my suggestion would be just grab any HR offer. I mean, that would be, and from there you can grow, you can learn. So that's my point. And I believe I that day I was talking to you, Ashish. You were saying don't compromise your role. That's true. You should never compromise on your role on a certain point of your career. But I believe initially you should grab a HR role where you can learn from there, because every HR role will be, there will be something which will give you something. There will be something to learn. So that's one thing. And for a lot of people who get stuck in after 7 8 years in the same company, so in for the, they want to change, right? They want to change their career, they want to change the industry or something like that. For that, I would suggest, I would my advice would be, just enhance your skills, do certification courses. If you enhance your skills externally, the result today or tomorrow, it will definitely come. That will definitely pays off, and that will mm, I mean,
So talking of skills, you actually brought out another very interesting aspect, Jaideep, and I think why your emphasis is students should grab an HR role is no matter what industry, what sector, what the business is, it's ultimately it's people who run the business. So, for example, I was talking to a very interesting business leader recently, and he said today we are flying aircrafts every other day, right? We are flying all over the place, but if a human being had not dreamt about a flying machine, the aeroplane would not have been invented. If a human being does not did not start building a flying machine, the aeroplane would not have been invented. And today, also, a human being is required to fly the aeroplane. So, people are absolutely essential for any business to become profitable. So, managing people, or rather, I wouldn't want to say managing people, enabling people is a very noble profession, and therefore, very well said that HR is something which students should choose. I take that point. And you also spoke about skills in HR. So yeah, everybody talks about you should understand the business. You also said so analytics. You should know how to make dashboards, meaningful dashboards, speaking dashboards, live dashboards. But I just want to move a little into the softer aspects. What are the skills of the future in HR? We start with the softer aspects and then we'll come to the technical HR skills. But what do you think are the softer aspects? This is I'm just drawing some points from what you said earlier. So what do you think are the softer aspects as skills?
so your question is like, what are the soft skills, right? I mean, the
Yeah.
soft skill unit.
Yeah. Hmm.
So soft skill is definitely the employee connect, more of a. I mean, I would like to tell you one short thing here. When I have started my career, I used
Hmm.
to get a lot of phone calls.
Hmm.
I don't know whether I have shared it with Ashish or not. So I used to get a lot of phone calls, and I used to, obviously, I'm very being very frank and candid to you. So I
Hmm.
used to ignore, I mean, lots of phone calls, because I've
Hmm.
just joined a business and a
Hmm.
lot of people issues were there for
Hmm.
various reasons. I am not mentioning everything. So
Hmm.
a lot of issues are there. I used to get a lot of, so I used to ignore the calls. And
Hmm.
and trust me, when I ignore the calls never get stopped. It is like this. Then one day I realized, I started receiving calls. So once you started receiving calls, the calls gets less. I mean, the number gets minimized. So it's all about like this. So this is the basic soft skill over the years today, and after 100 years also, if HR in this, I mean, the as a function is exist, this basic skill will be there, that the employee connect,
Communication, communication, communication.
the communication, and the employee connect, the people connect.
Hmm.
So I have not understood. I was not matured enough in the beginning of my career that you should answer people's query. At least you are not God. You will not be able to fulfill 100% of any employee's problem, right?
Mm,
But even if you listen to them, half of the problem will be solved for them.
mm,
And over the years, I have seen it. I am doing it. I never miss a call from the employee, and it not for the employees. It has reduced my stress also because I am getting less calls once I started receiving calls. So
oh, this,
the soft skill, if you are asking me, if you ask me, I would say the employee connect, understand employee pulse, start treating employees like your family. It's not like your job, your compulsion, you are doing it. Suppose someone is need a medical emergency, someone need medical card, and that person is admitted, not just because you are HR, you are doing it. Just feel
mm,
that you are his. Suppose someone from your family is in this position, would
mm,
have would you have been, obviously you would have done something like this, right? So you
mm,
have to treat that like this. So even the pulse is there, the hunger is there, the employee connect is there. Obviously anybody can. That's the future of HR. Now it was yesterday, now and forever. So that person is the best HR, I guess. And everyone who are the good HRs, I am sure they have that hunger, they have the connect, they have that feelings for the employees. So that's the soft skill, I can say only like this.
empathy, absolutely
Yeah,
empathy.
yeah,
So,
correct.
yeah,
Well
to
said.
summarize it, empathy. And I think everything in HR, like you said, is if it starts with empathy, all of us in HR should become design thinkers. Yes, Ashish.
Correct.
Harini, a leading question to this, what you asked, specifically getting your views for senior folks like us in the industry and many of us, who are in the middle layer of management. Skills, as I mentioned, soft skills, generally people are taught, people who come into people function are aware about these things. What are the skills which are required for senior folks? Because they generally go back and they presume you have to you have to respect people, you have to talk softly, you have to
Mm,
listen, your listening
mm,
skills has to be better, all
mm.
this. But what are some key futuristic skills for senior folks in the
You ask,
industry?
you're asking me or you're asking
Yes,
Jaideep?
yes, I'm asking you, Harini.
Okay. Okay. So for senior people, definitely uh, one of the what do you say, people empowering skills, I would say, is transparency. Now, when you hear it first, you might wonder that this is sounding revolutionary. Yeah, but hum rebel hai to aise hi bolenge. So, which is like this. But transparency is something which it even comes before trust, right? So, if a leader is able to be very transparent about what stage the business is in, what are the risks we are sitting on, what are the threats, what are the opportunities, where our financials are heading. If a leader is able to be transparent about the business outcomes and remains consistently transparent, I think he or she automatically gets trust from the people, right? So definitely transparency is one of the softer skills that leaders should practice. The second one is my all-time favorite: treating adults as adults. You know, a leader who believes in very strongly in command and control is actually treating adults as children. And command and control, even for children, you will either convert them into rebellious adults or submissive adults. So it's very important for leaders to consciously treat adults as adults. It's very important for leaders to be transparent about their vision, about the current situation, where the business is, where the business is heading, so that people can continuously realign themselves. The third one, undoubtedly, is reducing power distance. So, power distance has a lot of symbols, which, if you open your eyes and see, if a leader says, "Always take my approval," or a leader says, "Always keep me copied when you're sending an email," even though you may have a first name culture in the organization, and you might claim that we have an open door policy, but the power distance is still there if a leader says, "Take my approval." So I might call somebody by first name, Hari Sadhu. But if Hari Sadhu really behaves like that, then there is power distance. So reducing power distance, treating adults as adults, and transparency are three very, very, very important skills of the future. So
Great.
servant leadership is I think something that's most important.
Great, thank you, Harini. I think these are really golden words, specifically for the entire community. You have been reiterated them in a lot of forums. I think this reaches out. Jaideep, an interesting question for you is for keeping your thought process with the entire HR community who are growing and aspiring leaders. Is one that how do we look at success? There are many journeys, in fact, which have not flourished, and at a very senior level we have come across, and this is a hard fact, and this is a candid discussion, so we can say that some people are really looking out for jobs even at a senior level. Some people at a junior level go haywire and then they land up as recruiters, which technically is not the HR kind of role. Some people do HR, HRBPs, and COVID struck, and then they became unemployed. But if we look at it, they all are surviving. Some of them are doing consultancies as part of, as a action plan, or maybe as a damage recovery. Some of them become, employees in some other lesser renowned organizations, and some of them, add on to their skills to do education, to add on more, value addition to this. But how do you see success? How have you seen success in your life? What you feel so far, and what would be your futuristic approach to take it to the next level of success, which you feel is your benchmark? We are not, framing the success in our own terms, because it is very personal to people. But just for you as an individual, as a key highlight today, how would you see success so far, and what are you doing to take it to the next level of success?
Okay. Uh, Ashish, very good questions and I mean, it has a very vast scope of answering these kind of questions because, so I believe success is somehow when you have a balance in your life. I mean, that's called success. You can have a good dine out with your own family without any tensions. I mean, normal tensions that there would be there, but there will be proper work-life balance, and overall balance will be there. So maybe I'm very successful in my life, in my professional life, but I have reached the highest ladder. I mean, there, but somehow my personal life is not that happy. I'm not satisfied or not that. So that will not be success for me. Obviously personal lives, personal ups and downs is not in our hands. That's, I'm not talking about that. So I'm talking that if someone can balance, a person who's very successful in his professional life but cannot attend his or her child's birthday, right, for something. So that person is not successful for me because I mean, I mean, you should know where to give the importance and how to balance. So this is all about success for me. And if you ask me, what is the future of success? Yes, what you are, don't compare with others. What you are doing yesterday, if you are doing
Brilliant
better
point.
than that today and tomorrow, that is, you are doing good. You are doing in your life good, and that is, you are successful. But don't compare. If you compare someone with, probably that person is not good, that person was not better in studies in your college, but that doesn't mean that person will not be good in your professional life. So be it like this. So live the life and just try to compete with yourself better than your yesterday, and your tomorrow and day after tomorrow will be better than that. I mean, it will be very good. I mean, that's all about for me. I mean,
Yeah,
about
so Ashish, this connects to what you were saying in the start, that everyone's journey is different. So when
yes,
everyone's journey is different, you cannot have a race, right? You have to only do better than yourself.
yes.
Great point. Great point. So, Jaideep, before Ashish asks the next question, I have this curious question. So, you said HR. You came into HR by choice. You've had a great journey so far, and that's precisely why you are making a difference. And we want to hear from you. What is it? What was your moment of pride in HR? If you can narrate an incident, that'll be great. What was your moment of pride? Because when we wrap up this conversation, I want young HR professionals to see a pride in the profession. So what was your moment of pride in HR?
Okay, so uh, so moment of pride in the sense, yeah, when I got uh, uh, there are two instances I can give incidents. Once I was in Gati in 2015 when I used to take care of the Calcutta region only, but there was no one is in the south region at that point of time. They sent me there, and I took the whole, which was at least 2 3 levels above of my profile of my designation. That position, I handled the South India, complete the 5 states for around 3 4 months, and I got the appreciation from the CHRO. So that was my, I felt good, I felt appreciated, and I felt that was a moment of pride for me. And again, when in FedEx, FedEx sent me to IIM for MDP course. I cracked there, so that was another. So I know these are all the milestones of, I mean, like, but yes, if you ask me if I feel good, feel accomplished. So in this, these are the two things.
Do you celebrate your success, small success like this? Do you celebrate them?
uh, Celebrate means, yes, I celebrate with myself, I talk to myself probably. Like, not in terms of celebrating, I'm throwing a party or something like that, but yes, I speak to myself. Yeah, I remember my hard times. I remember the times when I was very down, when I had challenges, and I told myself, no, Jaideep, you can, the time will come. So I remember, I recall those days, and I feel good. That is the
I was
moment.
hoping that you will give this answer, because I didn't mean celebration as in a party. I meant, what I meant
Yes,
by celebration was introspection about what is
yes.
it that you did
I
which made you get the success. And I was actually hoping that you will give this answer, and I'm so glad you did. And I'm now
I do
conscious of time. I
remember.
just saw the clock ticking at 42 minutes. So Ashish, if you're done,
No,
Jaideep, I'll give the mic
Yeah,
back
yeah.
to
Harini,
you.
the question is only to you only before, so Jaideep's answers, I was just, falling back that his answers look so matured and unexpected kind of, answers which come across, which if you would have asked me celebration, I would have said, I don't celebrate, I'm not a party man. So, I might have said that. Kudos to you, Jaideep. Harini, while we close into the time of the session also, a question which has come up, and I think this is very important, leading to again gig HR. We
Hmm.
answered a question of skills who are into regular employment, full time. But gig HR is everywhere now. Most of the people are taking it up, not only as consultants for the closure of the talent acquisition positions, but also, and you are a leading example of gig HR, specifically on HR preneurship, journey. But
Yes.
your take is, it is there to stay, or this is only for people who, so is it only for people who are excelled in their career and then move on to this journey, or some people can become an enablers, gather everybody, and open up? So what is your take is that?
Yeah, my take on it is that now with the startup ecosystem growing, and a lot of startups happening, if you look at how startups function, is they start with the founders come and they started with a lot of passion. Okay, there's passion, there's purpose. But as the startup is growing, uh, sometimes they fail to understand that they have not looked at people processes. So I'm not talking about the traditional HR stuff of maintaining records and attendance and stuff like that. I'm talking of HR as a culture builder. So, what is the role of gig HR? Is HR becoming a culture builder for organizations? So, startups need somebody who will take on the mantle of building the desired culture of that organization. The startup founders have a certain culture in mind, and if there is somebody who can start building the people culture along with them, that will be a boon. So that's the space where HR professionals can look at gig opportunities. And to answer the second part of your question, that do you need seasoned people? I don't think so. Uh, Students fresh out of college, if they understand, okay, we say that millennials are the are the professionals of the future, and I have two millennials here in front of me today. So do you need experience to bring about the culture which is the future? No, you don't. Probably I might be a misfit in talking about the culture that would suit millennials. So I don't think it's important for somebody to have experience, because the experience of my generation that we carry would be a traditional command and control management type of an experience. But today we're talking of trust and transparency. Of course, I have managed to cross that bridge and I keep coming back. But I think anybody who understands, who has a business acumen, who has a lot of common sense, and who has people sense, anybody who has all the three can be a very successful gig HR. So that's my take on gig HR. Here is an opportunity for HR to become culture builders, and the smartest
Great,
of us do that.
great thought, Harini. I think that's so important. Every time we come across and something else comes up, and something started brewing in my head. While we also wanted to keep this session short and crisp, not extending like others, it's a feedback we got from the audience, and we'll inculcate that.
And we
Jaideep,
value
while we
that.
move on to the last phase, I have only three questions. Say, never, I have ever. Three questions where you just have to say, so three instances. First instance is. Have you used HR to put yourself into a commanding state using your position in any of the organizations? Say I never, or I have, or I have not.
Yes, I have.
Okay.
It's
No
true.
explanations to this, but just
Yeah,
that's
but
Absolutely.
that's
we really appreciate your honesty.
yeah.
No,
Uh, did you think at any point of time to leave this HR profession and do something else?
I didn't get the second question.
I'm saying, did you think at any point of your career to leave HR and doing something else?
No, I never.
The third is, if not HR, then what? If Jaideep would have not been an HR professional, then he would have been what?
I would be. Sorry, I can't think of anything else apart from being in my profession.
He's just proving the point that he's here by choice and not by chance. कुछ भी करो, नींद में भी उठा के पूछो, he will say the same thing.
Uh, no, but it also gives an important point that somebody said that I met somebody and he said that if we are not doing this, what is our alternatives in career? Harini, with this, while this note, while I'll request you to sum up this entire session and, give your take on uh, how we look at it. But also, Jaideep, before we move on, Harini, the last question is that if in one word, if you have to say what HR means to you, what would be that? A one word only.
One word.
Yeah, one
So
word.
hope.
Harini, over to you for the closure and our takeaway from audience. It's an immense journey, Jaideep. I'm so glad that we could host this to you. Not
Thank you
only
so much.
today, it resonates that the kind of thoughts you have are so matured, crystal clear, and so authentic, touched with the roots. That it goes back with saying that learning is important, being human is important, and also in the focus that accepting reality is very important, which most of us do not do, and we can only do it if we stop comparing. Harini, over to you for the closure of this session.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jaideep. It was an absolute pleasure to host you and to take away from your life, your journey. I think if I have to summarize what you said, you spoke extensively about making very conscious choices when it comes to career choices, when it comes to learning to prioritize. How do you define your own? What does success mean to you? It was, I think, you emphasized on making very very conscious choices, not go with the flow, but make your choices every day you wake up in the morning, make a choice and do it by that. So I think that was one way in which I would summarize your entire journey, and every step that you've taken has been a very conscious decision, and you're trying to be a better version of yourself every day. And that's something which I think is the secret behind you not getting frustrated. You've been Mr. Cool throughout every conversation that I've had with you. You've been absolutely cool. Even on this show right now, you've been Mr. Cool. So I think that is what is important. feel frustrated. So that's my second takeaway. All of us have typical career progression journeys, but to me these are the two big things. And the third one that you said is learning never stops. And we have to be conscious that learning में से L board हटा दिया और earning शुरू हुआ, ऐसा नहीं होता है. The L board stays with you for life. So that's the biggest thing. And Ashish, I want to answer that question about what would you describe HR as in one word. I would describe HR as the key to every lock and success. If there are two ways of breaking a lock, like opening a lock. One is you can take a hammer and break the lock, right? Or you can use a key. If you look at it, the hammer is much powerful than the key, but the hammer does a damage to the lock. But the key touches the core of the lock and it unlocks it with a lot of nazakat, as you say in Hindi, right? So HR is that key where you unlock very subtly by touching the core of the people and the business. And an HR that is command and control, traditional, is like the hammer. So it's time for us to move from being a hammer to being the key. So this was how I would want to summarize this conversation. And
Wonderful,
we
wonderful,
have
Harini,
had
I
enough
think.
today.
Wonderful. I thank so much. I think so many insights. Digital media is going to stay today with us, even after us. And when we see Jaideep rising to the success ladder, whatever he defines, this video will always, be with him to remind of what he said today.
And we'll come
I
back to you,
thank
Jaideep asking for your autograph, and may you be that successful.
Yeah, I thank Harini for for your
So
time. I thank all the audience and special mention to you, Jaideep. It takes a lot of guts to come over and talk about what you are, reality. Hats off to you. You are a true addition to HR fraternity, and we will. You are the person who will watch out in the going space. I thank my
thank you,
viewers.
Ashish.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much, and thank you for this event.
Thank you. Thank you, Ashish. Thank you, Harini. It was wonderful conversations. I never felt the first time I am talking in this platform. Thank you.